Welcome back, students, for our video lecture series on fluid mechanics. Today, we're going to discuss about velocity potential function, stream functions, and what do you mean by Cauchy-Riemann's equation. Then we will study about equipotential lines, equation of stream function lines, and lastly, we're going to discuss each and everything about flow nets. So starting with velocity potential function, for any ideal fluid, that is fluid having non-viscous forces means in which the friction forces acting between the layers is not existing is known as ideal fluid. For an ideal fluid, we can define a function in such a way that its negative derivative with respect to any direction gives the velocity of flow in that direction. Velocity potential function is basically a function of space and time such that its negative derivative in any direction will going to give the velocity of flow in that direction. Velocity potential function is denoted by phi. Phi is a function of space and time. X, Y, Z basically represents the Cartesian coordinates of space and t is the time. If you partially derivate phi in any direction, you will going to have the velocity of flow in that direction. For example, minus del phi by del x will give you the velocity and flow in x direction. Minus del phi by del y will going to give you the velocity of flow in y direction, and minus del phi by del z will going to give you the velocity of flow in z direction. So basically, if you have a velocity vector u times I cap, v times j cap, and w times k cap, in order to determine these three components of your velocity vector, you have to simply have a negative partial derivative of phi in that particular direction. आपको x डायरेक्शन में वेलोसिटी चाहिए u, तो phi को आप partially derivate कर दीजिए with respect to x, and the negative partial derivative of phi in x direction will going to give you the velocity component in x direction. ठीक? Also, we can say that if phi is constant in any direction, then velocity will be zero in that direction. If phi is constant in any direction, its partial derivative will be zero. Hence, we can conclude that the velocity of flow is zero in that particular direction. Okay? Moving on, considering a steady and incompressible flow, our steady matlab with respect to time, our parameter will not going to change. Our parameters will be only the function of space if the flow is steady. For a steady and incompressible flow, we have seen continuity equation to be del u by del x plus del v by del y plus del w by del z is equals to 0. Replacing u, v and w with respect to phi, we can say that del by del x, u is replaced by minus del phi by del x, v is replaced by minus del phi by del y, and w is replaced by minus del phi by del z. ब्रैकेट ओपन करने से जो हमारे को मिलता है दैट विल बी डी स्क्वायर फाइव बाई डी एक्स स्क्वायर प्लस डी स्क्वायर फाइव बाई डी वाई स्क्वायर प्लस डी स्क्वायर फाइव बाई डी जेड स्क्वायर. ये जो d2 बाई डी एक्स स्क्वायर है, ये इसको आप बोलते हैं सेकेंड ऑर्डर डेरिवेटिव डिनोटेड बाय डेल्टा ऑपरेटर, सेकेंड ऑर्डर डेल्टा ऑपरेटर. तो इस फॉर्म में अगर कोई भी पैरामीटर लिखा हो इन टर्म्स ऑफ सेकेंड ऑर्डर डेल्टा पैरामीटर एंड इफ इट्स वैल्यू इज जीरो, then this type of equation is known as Laplace equation. Thus, our velocity potential function phi satisfies the Laplace equation for the continuity of a flow. Means if the flow is existing, then our velocity potential function will going to satisfy the Laplace form of equation. That is, second order derivative of phi is 0. Next. check for irrotationality. If for the flow to be rotational, its angular velocity should be non-zero. But if the angular velocity of flow is zero, it means the flow is irrotational. किसी भी फ्लो को irrotational होने के लिए उसकी angular velocity को zero होना चाहिए. आइए चेक करते हैं कि if you are given with any velocity potential function तो आप कुछ conclude कर सकते हैं क्या rotationality के बारे में. So we know that angular velocity omega z is given by half of del v by del x minus del u by del y. v को आप minus del phi by del y लिख दीजिए and u is written as minus del phi by del x. You will going to have omega z is equals to half of minus del 2 phi by del x del y plus del 2 phi by del x into del y. ये दोनों टर्म्स कैंसिल हो गई आपस में. For any kind of flow, if your velocity potential function is given, for any kind of flow, if velocity potential function is given, it means that the flow is irrotational. Because if velocity potential function is defined for a particular kind of flow, then it will going to be irrotational in nature. Because irrespective of the value of phi, our value of angular velocity is coming out to be zero. Hence, for any value of phi, the angular velocity comes out to be zero. Therefore, that flow is always irrotational. So, starting with our velocity potential function, we have considered the flow to be ideal, and also we have considered the flow to be irrotational in nature. Next, equation of equipotential function lines. You have velocity potential function phi. For a particular value of phi, if you join all the points having the same value of phi, the line that you will going to get is known as equipotential function line. Equipotential function lines, these are the lines formed by joining the different points having the same value of velocity potential function. phi की सेम वैल्यू के लिए अगर आप उन सारे पॉइंट्स को ज्वाइन कर देते हो, then the curve obtained is known as equipotential function lines. ठीक है. ऐसे आपने डिफरेंट वैल्यूज ऑफ phi के लिए लाइंस ज्वाइन करी. The curve that you obtained is known as equipotential function lines. इस पर्टिकुलर लाइन में अगर आप मूव करते हैं, then the change in value of phi, your d phi, is zero. There will be no change in the value of phi is obtained. In order to obtain the slope of these lines, we need to consider a 2D steady incompressible flow. Again, 2D steady incompressible flow. Steady means the parameter will only be the function of space. It will not be the function of time. It will be independent of time. So phi is a function of space x and y. Considering d phi, change can be written as del phi by del x into dx plus del phi by del y into dy. अब moving along this line, moving along this phi line, your d phi comes out to be zero. Therefore, substituting for any particular line, phi is constant. Therefore, your d phi is zero. This d phi value is zero. From here, we can also say that del phi by del x can be written as minus u and del phi by del y can be written as minus v. Substitute कर दीजिए, you will going to have 0 is equals to minus u into dx minus v into dy. यहाँ से आपको एक टर्म मिलेगी, that is the slope of these equipotential function lines. That is dy by dx for any constant value of phi. The slope of this line is given by minus u by v, where u is the velocity component in x direction and v is the velocity component in y direction. Also, we can say that these equipotential function lines determine the amount of energy present in any fluid. Higher the value of these phi, more will be the value of energy. Higher the value of phi, more will be the value of energy. And we have seen that our fluid flow takes place from higher energy level to lower energy level. Therefore, our fluid flow will take place from higher values of phi towards lower values of phi. In this case, if we say that phi 3 is more than phi 1, means energy at this space of phi 3 will be more than energy of this space phi 1. Therefore, we can say that the flow will be taking place from phi 1 to from phi 3 to phi 1 in this direction. Our flow will be taking place from phi 3 to phi 1 in this direction. So indirectly, this equipotential function lines determine the amount of energy present with the fluid. Always, the fluid flow will take place from higher energy level towards the lower energy level. And if you are given with different values of phi, always remember flow will take place in the direction such that phi value will be decreasing. यहाँ जो आप देख रहे हैं direction of flow, in this direction of flow the value of phi is decreasing from phi 3 to phi 2 then to phi 1. Okay, moving on. So here is a note point mentioned. Velocity of flow will be in the direction of decreasing velocity potential function. हमने देखा हुआ किस तरीके से velocity of flow is taking place. Next is next type of function is known as stream function. Again, stream function is defined for ideal fluid. And also, stream function is a scalar function, which is a function of space and time. Stream function is basically a function of space and time, such that its partial derivative with respect to any direction gives the velocity component at right angles in anti-clockwise direction to this direction. अब सर ये क्या क्या डेफिनेशन में लिखा हुआ है, इससे डेफिनेशन से तो हमको कुछ क्लियर नहीं हो रहा है, तो आइए इसको डायग्राम से समझते हैं। स्ट्रीम फंक्शन एक ऐसा फंक्शन है जहां पर आप अगर उसका डेरिवेटिव लेते हैं किसी भी डायरेक्शन के अलोंग, if you take the derivative of a stream function along any direction, for suppose if you take the derivative of stream function along dx, then it will going to give you the velocity of a flow in right angle direction perpendicular to this dx direction in anti-clockwise direction. इस dx के एंटी-क्लॉकवाइज डायरेक्शन में 90 डिग्रीज पे जो भी एक्सिस होगा, उस एक्सिस की जो वेलोसिटी कंपोनेंट होगा वो आपको मिलेगा. If you take the derivative of phi with respect to dx, then you will going to have the velocity component of the axis at 90 degrees in anti-clockwise direction to this dx, that is v. Similarly, if you're going to take the partial derivative with respect to dy, तो dy से 90 डिग्रीज आप एंटी क्लॉकवाइज मूव करिए और मूव करने के बाद में जो भी आपको एक्सिस मिल रहा है उस एक्सिस में यू विल गोइंग टू हैव द वेलोसिटी in that direction. So that is minus u. You have considered x and y. These are the two axes. The velocity of flow in x direction is u and its direction is this. The velocity of flow in y direction is v and its direction is this. If you take the partial derivative of psi with respect to dy, you will going to have the velocity component in minus x direction. The velocity component is in minus x direction will be minus u, just because of the direction of fluid flow. So this is all about stream function. Stream function will also going to give you the velocity of flow moving in anti-clockwise direction. जो भी एक्सेस आपको मिलेगा उस पे जो वेलोसिटी का कंपोनेंट है वो आपको स्ट्रीम फंक्शन के पार्शियल डेरिवेटिव से मिल जाएगा. ठीक. नेक्स्ट, in order to check for rotation, again you need to check for angular velocity. Angular velocity omega z is equals to half of dv by dx minus du by dy. dv v की वैल्यू रख दीजिए in respect of psi. तो half of d by dx of del psi by del x minus del by del y of minus del psi by del y. u की वैल्यू आपने रख दी minus del psi by del y. Here you going to have second order derivative of psi, that is omega z is equals to half of del 2 psi by del x dx square plus del 2 psi by dy square. So this d2 by dx square and d2 by dy square can be written as second order differential operator, which is delta square psi. If this delta square psi is 0, it is again a Laplace form of equation. If this del square psi is 0, it means flow is irrotational because its angular velocity will going to be 0. And if this del square psi is not equal to 0, it means flow is rotational in nature. So from the above two conditions, we can easily say that if phi, which is velocity potential function, if phi satisfies the Laplace equation, it means flow is continuous and fluid flow exists. But if our stream function psi satisfies Laplace equation, it means our flow is irrotational in nature. किसी भी डेल्टा ऑपरेटर, डेल्टा स्क्वायर ऑपरेटर को अगर आप किसी पैरामीटर में लगाते हैं, if you operate del square operator over any parameter and if this is equal to 0, then this form of equation is known as Laplace equation. आप डेल्टा स्क्वायर ऑपरेटर को किसी भी पैरामीटर में अगर ऑपरेट करते हैं and if its value is equals to be 0, then this type of equation is known as Laplace equation. Here p can be any parameter. Moving on. Now, equation of equistream function lines. These are also known as the flow lines because along these lines flow will be taking place in a fluid. So equistream function lines are basically the curves obtained by joining different points having same value of stream function. Same value of psi के different points को अगर आप join कर देते हैं तो जो आपको curve obtain होगा that will be equistream function line. Joining the different values of psi, you will going to have a curve which is known as equistream function line. If you move along this curve, the change in d psi will be equal to 0, and also along this curve our flow will be taking place. जो भी हमारा flow होगा इन्हीं curves के along हो रहा होगा. In order to determine the slope of these equistream function lines, we need to again consider a 2D and incompressible flow. For a 2D steady and incompressible flow, steady means our parameter will not be changing with respect to time. It will only be a function of space. So psi is a function of x and y, and d psi change is equals to del psi by del x into dx plus del psi by del y into dy. For a particular value of psi, अगर आप एक particular psi line पे move करते हैं, your change in psi value will be 0, your d psi will be 0. Therefore 0 is equals to del psi by del x into dx plus del psi by del y into dy. यहाँ डेल साई बाय डेल एक्स को आप v से रिप्लेस कर सकते हैं एंड डेल साई बाय डेल y को माइनस u से रिप्लेस कर सकते हैं. रिप्लेस करने के बाद में द थिंग दैट यू आर गोइंग टू गेट इज 0 is equals to v into dx minus u into dy. From here you can say that your dy by dx, that is slope of any psi line, is equals to v by u. This is the slope of any psi line. थोड़ी देर पहले we have calculated the slope of phi lines which comes out to be minus v by u, say m1, and the slope of psi lines that we have calculated here is v by u, say m2. If you take the product of these two slopes, your m1 into m2 is equals to minus u by v into v by u. So from here m1 into m2 comes out to be minus 1. Whenever the product of slope of two lines is minus 1, it means both the lines cut each other orthogonally. Means दोनों lines एक दूसरे को 90 degrees पे intersect करेंगी. From here we can conclude that the equipotential function lines and equistream lines intersect each other orthogonally. Means both lines are orthogonal to each other and these two lines intersect each other at 90 degree. ठीक है. Next is these psi lines, equistream lines, are also used to calculate the discharge passing through a space. So let us consider three psi lines. For a 2D steady and incompressible flow, again psi will be a function of space, only space. Considering d psi, so d psi is equals to del psi by del x into dx plus del psi by del y into dy. Here on moving from a to b, आपने a से b पे मूव किया है, तो a से b मूव करने पे your value of x will not going to change, your dx is 0 and you will have some value of dy between these two psi lines. दो एक्सिस, एक एक्सिस तो ये हो गया along which flow is taking place, this is your x axis. Orthogonal to that is your y axis, and the third axis is the axis which is going inside the plane. वो जो axis inside the plane जा रहा है, that will be the length measured along that axis is known as the width of flow. Considering unit width of flow means ये जो axis आपके board of plane के अंदर जा रहा है, उस एक्सिस पे आप यूनिट लेंथ कंसिडर कीजिए. मींस कंसिडरिंग यूनिट विड्थ ऑफ फ्लो, तो जो आपका क्रॉस सेक्शनल एरिया ऑफ फ्लो होगा दैट विल बी dy into 1. dy is this AB and 1 inside the board, that dy into 1 will be the cross sectional area of flow. On moving from A to B, your dx is 0, therefore your dx is substituted as 0. Next, your d psi value is changing from phi 1 to phi 2 and cross sectional area of flow is dy into 1. तो यहाँ हम देखेंगे आगे क्या हो रहा है. On moving from A to B, dx is 0, d psi is changing from psi 1 to psi 2. Substitute कर दीजिए, d psi is equals to minus u into dy. This dy can be written as dy into 1. So considering unit width of flow, d psi is equals to minus u into dy into 1. This dy into 1 is basically the cross sectional area of flow and u is the velocity of flow. पिछली इन क्लासों में हमने देखा हुआ है कि whenever we calculate the discharge of flow, so discharge of flow is given by velocity of flow. Discharge Q is given by velocity of flow multiplied by the area. Velocity you know U, and area you have dy into 1. So from here we can say that d psi is dq, that is discharge per unit width, because we have considered unit width. On integrating, we can have discharge per unit width q as a difference of two equistream function lines, that is q is equals to psi 2 minus psi 1. Here q is the discharge per unit width, that is basically the rate of flow through any cross sectional area. Discharge is basically the rate of flow through any cross sectional area. The discharge per unit width is equals to the basic difference between two values of psi 2 minus psi 1. Moving on. Now these are the equations said by Cauchy and Riemann. These are basically the two scientists. They have concluded for irrotational and incompressible flow. तो basically आपको करना क्या है? You have calculated the values of u and v using different parameters of velocity potential function and stream functions. तो आपको उन दोनों को लिख देना है. U is equals to minus del phi by del x and minus del psi by del y. U is minus del phi by del x and minus del psi by del y. Similarly, v can be obtained as minus del phi by del y and del psi by del x. So these set of equations combinedly known as Cauchy-Riemann's equation. बेसिकली आपको यहाँ पर तीन चीज का ख्याल रखना है. पहला, which velocity component you are calculating. Second, what is the sign convention. And thirdly, which function you are operating on, either on phi function or psi function. phi और psi किस फंक्शन पे आप ऑपरेट कर रहे हैं उसका आप ख्याल रखेंगे. तो component of velocity, second is the sign convention, and third is basically the function that you are operating on. So these sets of equation are known as Cauchy-Riemann's equation. ये आपको कैलकुलेशन में हेल्प करेगी. एंड बेसिक एंड स्ट्रिक्टली these equations are only for irrotational and incompressible flows. Only for irrotational and incompressible flows. Up to this point, we can conclude that velocity potential function exists only for irrotational flows. Only and only for irrotational flows. हमने कैलकुलेट किया हुआ है कि whenever you have any value of psi for any value of phi, for any value of phi, your omega z, that is angular velocity component, comes out to be 0. Means जब जब आपका phi exist करेगा, your flow always be irrotational in nature. Second, for any stream function psi, it exists both for irrotational and rotational flows. स्ट्रीम फंक्शंस को फर्क नहीं पड़ता कि फ्लो किस टाइप का है. stream function will exist for both irrotational and rotational flows. Next is flow nets. In order to solve problem related with 2D irrotational flow, we developed a grid of equipotential function lines and equi-streamlines. In order to solve and analyze 2D irrotational flows, we have developed a grid of equipotential function lines and equi-streamlines, which is combinedly known as FlowNet. So FlowNet is a grid obtained by drawing series of equipotential lines and streamlines. आपने different equipotential lines and streamlines को draw कर दिया, and we have seen that these equipotential lines and streamlines cut each other orthogonally. The angle between these two lines will be 90 degrees. You have taken the same value of difference between two equi-streamlines and two equipotential lines. You have considered the same value of difference. That is, if this is your psi1, you have taken the difference of delta psi, and the other value will be psi1 plus delta psi. Your third line will be psi1 plus 2 delta psi. Similarly, if you have taken the value of phi1, the next line will be phi1 plus delta phi. Second line, third line will be phi1 plus 2 delta phi, and accordingly third line will be phi1 plus 3 delta phi. In the previous session, आज ही के कुछ टाइम पहले हमने देखा हुआ है कि the flow takes place from higher energy level towards lower energy level. So from here we can say that this phi1 plus 3 delta phi is at more energy level than phi1. So the direction of flow will be this. This will be the direction of flow. These different values of equipotential function lines will basically give you the energy level existing in the space, and flow will always take place from higher energy level towards lower energy level. Also, from different values of this psi lines, we can calculate the discharge based on the number of channels operating here. आप दो psi lines के बीच में डिफरेंस कैलकुलेट करके डिस्चार्ज एग्जिस्टिंग पर यूनिट विड्थ को आप कैलकुलेट कर सकते हैं, और जितने भी चैनल आपने कंसिडर किए हैं उन सारे चैनल्स को ऐड करके आप किसी भी स्पेस से कितना टोटल क्वांटिटी ऑफ डिस्चार्ज आ रहा है वो आप बहुत इजीली कैलकुलेट कर सकते हैं. Difference between two phi lines is given by delta S, and difference between two psi lines is given by delta N. ठीक है? Moving on. So flow nets are drawn in such a way that difference between stream functions of two successive streamlines are same. देखा हमने two मतलब यहाँ जो भी difference है that is delta phi. Thus, discharge between two successive streamlines it's constant in a flow net. ये जो streamlines हैं psi1 plus delta psi1 plus psi1 plus delta psi2, तो ये दोनों streamlines के बीच का difference is delta psi. Again, ये दोनों streamlines के बीच का difference is also delta psi. तो ये जो difference है that difference is constant. Therefore, the discharge passing through these two lines and these two lines will remain same. The discharge per unit width passing through different channels will remain same because we have considered the same difference between two streamlines. So यहाँ पे हमारे calculation और easy हो जाते हैं. ठीक है? Further, flow occurs in decreasing potential direction, means flow will take place from higher value of phi towards the lower value, ये भी हमने discuss किया. We have seen delta n is basically the difference between two streamlines or psi lines, and delta s is the distance between equipotential lines and phi lines. ठीक, तो दिस इज ऑल अबाउट योर फ्लो नेट. और आपको चीजें इजी होंगी और समझ में आएंगी व्हेन वी आर गोइंग टू सी द क्वेश्चंस रिगार्डिंग फ्लो नेट. नेक्स्ट इज व्हाट आर द डिफरेंट यूजेस ऑफ फ्लो नेट. The foremost use of flow net is to determine the streamlines and equipotential lines. Second, to determine the velocity and pressure distribution for given boundaries of flow. Third use of flow net is to evaluate loss of flow due to seepage. Due to seepage in earth dams and unlined canals. And lastly, to determine the uplift pressure of the bottom of the dam. Suppose you have this canal in which flow is taking place in this direction, and this is the sides of your canal. ये मैंने क्रॉस सेक्शन ड्रॉ करके रखा हुआ है, and the side of this canal is not lined, मतलब इसमें कोई भी सीमेंट या इम्परमेबल मटेरियल यूज नहीं किया हुआ है. इट इज मेड ऑफ सिंपल मड. तो इस साइड से भी कुछ सीपेज लॉसेस होंगे. सम वाटर विल पेनिट्रेट इनटू द साइड्स ऑफ दिस कैनाल. This losses is known as seepage losses. इन seepage losses को calculate करने के लिए we basically use flow nets. Second, if you have an earthen dam, इस earthen dam के नीचे से भी कुछ seepage losses हो रहे होंगे. Due to this seepage losses, there will be some uplift pressure existing over this earthen dam. In order to calculate this uplift pressure and this seepage losses, again we use flow nets. So these are the basic uses of flow nets, जहाँ पे flow nets सबसे ज़्यादा use होता है. ठीक है? There are other limitations of flow nets. First limitation is the method cannot be applied in a region close to a boundary where the viscosity effects are predominant, and the method cannot be used to determine flow pattern past a solid boundary on a downstream side due to separation of flow and eddies. So these are basically the two basic limitations. ये क्या होती हैं ये आगे हम क्वेश्चन में डिस्कस करेंगे. तो होपफुली थिंग्स आर क्लियर अप टू दिस पॉइंट. अगर आपको कोई भी डाउट है please write down in the comment box and get it rectified as soon as possible. So that will be all for the day. Thank you for listening patiently. Thank you so much.